Welcome to another episode in the Self-Belonging Stories. My name is Laura. I am your life coach if you are done talking about things and you're actually ready to make shifts. Today we're talking about why your high standards and the way you hold yourself really high is maybe not a high standard, but maybe fear. So let's get right into that. Let's start with a little bit of a quiz, okay? In your mind while you're listening to this, or maybe you're watching this, I want you to tick when this is true for you. Are you a person who likes to reread their emails at least 5 times before they send it and then they still find a typo? Are you someone who loves to rewrite their to-do list again because it didn't look clean enough? Are you someone who always has to have a plan B next to your plan A, maybe even a plan C before you can keep going into your project? Are you someone who's maybe rehearsing what you're going to say in a voice memo 3 times before you're actually recording? Congratulations, ding, 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 ding. You are a perfectionist. Or should I say, you have a perfectionist trait within yourself. Because I'm actually a big fan of not saying I'm a perfectionist, I'm a people pleaser. You can say I have perfectionism in myself, but it's not all of me. We want to start separating that. But let's backpedal. High standards, that's what I've been talking about, and perfectionism. If you're a person who is rereading their email, or if you have to have plain ABC, or if you're really making sure that voice memo needs to be a certain standard, if you need to look a certain way, right? Also something. If you are struggling to just show up and wing it sometimes, maybe that's not actually high standard. Maybe that is not you trying to just say, I have really high standards. Maybe that is your fear coming up here in disguise. That could also happen outside of you, right? Maybe you are saying you are meeting people and they're not 100% up to your standard because they look a little bit different or they behave a little bit different or have that quirky thing. You're saying, I have higher standards. I'm all about having high standards in a relationship, right? We're not dealing with people who are emotionally unavailable. We're also not dealing with people who are not keen to work on themselves. But if you are not keen to be with people who want to work on themselves because they still have some quirks, maybe that's your fear. Maybe that's your fear of not going into a relationship that's actually vulnerable, for example. So you're aiming for this perfectionist person, that person who is up there, looks beautiful, knows everything, has already worked on themselves, is, I don't know what you need, doing their gym routine, is this, that, doesn't have any flaws. This person doesn't exist. Surprise. But this is you not allowing yourself to go into a relationship that maybe actually needs friction and communication and conflict. High standards disguised as fear. Same thing for you if you are not going out to maybe start a project or a business. Maybe you're saying it's not good enough yet. I need to have higher standards. I need to have it better and bigger. It's actually fear holding yourself back. What about if you, I don't know, you love doing your makeup and you love having beautiful nails and you are not going out of the house looking a certain way because you worry what other people think. It's fear, not high standards. Challenging you here secretly. How about just for today, you maybe go outside or you maybe go shopping, maybe once in your pajamas and just see how that feels. Go to that edge. So, perfectionism, high standards is actually fear in disguise. Fear of conflict, fear of friction, fear of judgment, fear of what other people could say about you, could think about you, how you are maybe perceived. So it's easier to tell yourself, it's my high standard, it's my flag, than actually going into this, being vulnerable, being you. And this is most likely because in the past you learned somewhere that being you is not fully accepted. Maybe you've been in a relationship and you showed up a little bit quirky, a bit funny, a bit weird, why not? And your partner walked out on you. And in that moment, you're like, oh, this is not acceptable. And instead of talking to him about it and being, or to them and being like, hell, well, that's how I am. Either you accept me or we work on this together. You're just drawing back and you are making yourself small. And next time you don't show up as quirky anymore. You show up more perfect, more how people are supposed to see you. Fear in disguise. So here I am challenging you right now for today. Think about the things that you usually plan a lot, maybe even too much, where you have to show up a certain way, have to behave a certain way. Not because this is who you want to be, but because you're worried about conflict. You're worried about what other people might say. You're worried about not being liked. You're worried about not being enough. And then for a moment, just give yourself a hug. Honestly, you don't need to fix it straight away either. Just give yourself a hug that inside of you there's some fear of not being enough. And if this were your best friend would tell you like, you are amazing. You're the most prettiest girl in your life. You're an amazing woman. You do a great job. You are caring about everyone else so much. You are taking yourself first. You are amazing. You're allowed to prioritize yourself. But to tell that to ourselves is really hard. So give yourself a hug. Because that perfectionism is costing you. It's costing you energy. It's costing you time. It is costing you money. Yes, it is costing you money. You over planning and over preparing is costing you money, time, and energy. It's costing you your happiness. It's costing you calmness. And the only way to change it is starting with you. No one else will do that for you. The people around you won't start thinking differently. But you need to start changing how you think about yourself. You are allowed to think better of yourself. You are allowed to celebrate yourself. You are allowed to show up quirky. You're allowed to show up who you are. You're allowed to find your own style. I remember when I was in school, and I talked about this the other day. I was a girl in school that was always fitting in, right? I was always trying to be a good student. I was always having good grades. Like, school came very easy to me in terms of, like, I had friends, it was fun, but that was because I was also swimming. In German, we say swim with the other fish in the school, right? I was never swimming against it. So I tried to fit in. I tried to be perfect. I tried to be that 13-year-old that fits in. Nowadays, if I look back and I think about my classmates that were maybe a little bit weird, maybe the ones that also became, like, were bullied, these were the real heroes. These were the real ones who wouldn't abandon themselves enough to just fit in. And for that, they got some friction, they got some judging people, they got mean kids. Let's be honest, kids can be really mean, but they stuck to themselves. So I admire them, every single one of them. If you have been in school with me and you were one of those quirky people who just stuck to themselves, I admire you. I wasn't strong enough at that time. Same thing the other day, my partner and I went to Brisbane and we went into one of those game shops. And I've never been in a game shop like that. Not like a card game shop, more one of where people play Dungeons and Dragons and Warhammer, that kind of stuff, right? I have no idea how it works. And we went in there just because we were curious what it looks like. And there were so many cool people who were so invested in their games, and they obviously look different. They have maybe longer hair. I don't know. They're just gamers, but they were so excited and nerdy about what lights them up, and they would just follow them. That was their world. And I was standing in there and I was like, oh, these people really don't give a shit. They really show up as themselves. And I think this is something we all have to change our perspective a little bit more. So my invitation for you this week is go out there, look at the people, look off your phone screen, please, first and foremost. Stop looking onto your screen all the time and look around. Look at the differences in people. Look at who's out there. It's so freaking beautiful how different we and how unique we all are. So back to you. This is costing you, okay? So start changing the way you think about yourself. If you feel uncertain and you need to over-prepare all the time, start with getting okay, being okay with letting go a little bit, with letting one thing be good enough. And if you feel like you would love to have some more insight on it, some more, how can I do this? Jump into a free vibe check with me. This is exactly where I start. Okay, I start working with people who know that this is their issue, but they don't know how to change it. Here we make a shift. In my world, we shift. In my world, you get tools, you get tricks, you get steps, and you get someone in your corner, a mentor, me, a coach, someone who is your biggest cheerleader. So we make those changes, but we make them stick and we make them feel safe. You will never hear me saying, you should do X, Y, Z. I will come up with an idea. How about this next week? And maybe you will turn it around. If you come back next week and you're like, hey, Laura, I didn't do that. I'll be like, okay, what was the problem? What held you back? Let's find something else. Because I want this to work for you, not for me. It's not about me. It's about you. I want you to show up as yourself. I want you to belong to yourself again more and more and more. Same as those guys in the Warhammer shop did. Same as those kids in my school did. Same as I'm doing it now. And if I can do it, you can do it too. Thank you for listening in. Let me know what landed. Follow me on TikTok for more. Follow me on my Instagram and check out the link for a free vibe check. I'm excited to hear what's going on with you in the next time.